additional information on the issue. Below is the link so that you can download the PDF. But before you do that, let me share with you some key factors and some insight on how to end self-sabotage. So one of the major influences that we have are the stories that we tell ourselves. And these stories are based on our interpretation of our experiences. So we're the ones that are deciding if they're good or bad, if they're important or not important. They contribute to our beliefs and our values, and they also empower or disempower us. Now, the disempowering stories, they're still streaming via our negative self-talk and our subconscious. So when they're in our subconscious, we're not even aware of the story. And let me just give you a couple of examples of how these stories influence us. So I have a client who is a child of divorce. The mother hated the father. And so she would often refer to him as this rich, entitled jerk. And so the daughter grew up hearing this about her dad and seeing how much her mother hated the father. So when she grew up and now she has a career, she's self-sabotaging and she doesn't know why. Once we started the conversation, she realized that she had connected success with her father, who was hated by her mother. And so what this meant for her was that if she was successful, like her dad, then her mother would no longer love her. Now, this was in her subconscious. She wasn't aware of this story. But once she became aware of the association, she could look at it and she could say, well, this isn't true. You know, that's something that I thought when I was younger, but that's not true. I'm an adult, my mother loves me, and my mother wants my success. So once she realized that, she could dislodge that belief. She could become unchained from that belief and move forward into her career. And now she's able to progressively climb up the ladder of her career with success. I had another client. Now, this has to do with negative self-talk. When he was trying to become a stock trader or a day trader, he would always attempt to do it by taking some time from work and start trading. But the problem was that every time he sat down to trade, he had all this negative self-talk. And he kept hearing in his head that he was a loser, that he didn't know what he was doing, that he was taking too many risks, everything negative to make him feel like he was undeserving, unworthy, and not intelligent enough to become a trader. And he had been studying it for over 10 years. He had mentors. He had a group where he spoke with them about trades and indicators and things like that. But he still had this negative self-talk. And every time he tried to trade full time, he couldn't pull the trigger. So he couldn't take the trades. And what was really upsetting for him was that he would see the trade and he would see it play out the way he thought it was going to play out. And so that was very frustrating for him. He came and we spoke. And then what we found out was he knew he had a fear of losing his money. He didn't want to lose the money, but he didn't know why he had that fear. And so he started telling me about his story. And what he realized was that his father, who had had great financial success, later on took a lot of risk and he lost his money. And that meant that he went from living a life of luxury to living very conservative and with basically a budget. And so once he realized that he was associating with his father's huge risk taking with the risk that he was taking, he was able to mitigate that. And so he was able to now go full-time trading stock options and having very good success. And so these are two different individuals where the negative self-talk and the self-sabotage hit them in two different ways. But underneath these two disempowering influences is the same thing. It's a story and interpretation that they had based on their experience. Now, along with the negative self-talk, one of the reasons that you have that is your ego. Your ego wants to keep you safe. wants to keep you in that comfort zone, wants you to keep you in that familiar. And what we need to do is look at why it thinks that the risk is so great, because remember, it's trying to keep you safe. Once you're able to look at your story, you can start expanding what is your comfort zone, because success lies outside of your comfort zone, outside of the familiar. So in order to end self-sabotage, we have to take risk. We have to get out of the familiar and the comfort zone. So I know this will help you think about it and see what stories are still holding you back. And if you're ready for a breakthrough, then there's a calendar below and you can schedule a free 30-minute breakthrough session with me. Again, it's a free session, so the calendar is below and I look forward to working with you.